Today's episode is brought to you by aliens! Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode. Today we are chatting about Yorgos Lanthimos' latest film, Bugonia. We are getting so many movies from this man. I mean, in just a 3-year time span, we've gotten Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, and now Bugonia. He did recently announce that he is going to be taking a little bit of a break, so this might be the last one that we get for some time. But with Bugonia, it is yet another bonkers Yorgos film. We have come to know and love him for this, and sometimes they are absolute major smash hits like The Favorite or Poor Things. Other times they are a bit of a head scratcher and kind of hard to really wrap your head around. This one seems a little bit more in the middle for me personally. I think among his filmography, I would compare this to Killing of the Sacred Deer, Kinds of Kindness, that type of this is strange, he's getting weird type of Yorgos film, but there's still plenty of interesting and very cool performances to take part in this. Kinds of Kindness stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Aidan Delbus. Bugonia is a remake of a 2003 Korean film called Save the Green Planet, which if you have not seen that film, I do highly suggest you watch that in order to be able to compare and contrast these two. But Bugonia tells a very wacky story of two conspiracy theorists who kidnap a powerful CEO who they suspect is secretly an alien who wants to destroy Earth, and they want her to make contact with her mothership in order to send a message to her fellow alien brethren and sisters to stop killing the planet and to leave us alone. This is essentially his Invasion of the Body Snatchers, his They Live, where a mega conspiracy theory film about and involving aliens as they live among us, unbeknownst to us, and who are wreaking havoc on our society. And it is a bit of a frustrating film for myself. I kind of walked out of that theater just kind of in silence, as so many other people around me were. The commentary that it's making on these conspiracy theorists, conspiracy-pilled people who are listening to everything around them and just fully believing it and kind of wreaking havoc and not being afraid to do whatever they need to prove their point. It's also making commentary on powerful CEOs and these people in very high positions who are doing very harmful things to us, to our planet, and so on. And then this grander topic of humanity and how we got here and how we are destroying each other. All of that I very much appreciate in this film. However, I just feel like the movie never really goes there and really dives deep and digs into all of these meaty topics. Before we get into the real craziness of this film, we kind of see the two worlds clashing. You've got Jesse Plemons playing his conspiracy theorist man who is so disheveled, who really looks unlike anything we've seen of him before. And he and his cousin are devising this plan to kidnap this CEO. They are living in a very cramped, small home that is a bit dirty. They are just trying to make ends meet. He actually works at like a packaging and shipping company under Emma Stone's character. So it's all very much interconnected. But I kind of liked seeing the way that they meticulously are going out and buying all the supplies that they need, the way that they're talking about this plan of theirs and why they are correct in her being an alien. And then you get to contrast that with Emma Stone's CEO of a pharmaceutical company, Michelle, who is living in a gorgeous home, who has absolutely beautiful tailored outfits. She is doing all of her routines in the morning, like the red face masks, she's doing cardio, etc. And she's going to work in her massive Jeep SUV, whatever you want to call it, singing along to Chapel Rowan, of course. When the kidnapping happens, which I think is actually a very well shot and edited sequence with this struggle that they are all participating in, then the movie shifts into the confines of their basement, and she is pleading with them that she is not an alien and they are not listening to her. I do think that the film kind of stalls for me for really a good chunk of time with it. The conversations that they're having aren't really that interesting. there's not a whole lot that the characters are doing necessarily until things start to pick up again closer toward the later part of the second act and then definitely the third act. But what I will say, Jesse Plemons really giving a incredibly committed and bonkers performance. I mean, he is kind of scary seeing him as this conspiracy pilled guy who is not backing down, who can get quite violent, and we see that with the way that he reacts to Michelle. He really gives such a crazy good performance in this. And then, I mean, Emma Stone, literally one of the actors of our generation. She has her whole V for Vendetta moment as she is shaving her head, and she is like covered in this antihistamine type cream, and she just looks so wild, and she plays into that. I do love the sort of mind games that she plays with them. First, always trying to convince Jesse Plemons' character that, no, I am not an alien, what are you talking about? But then also very much taking advantage of his cousin, who is neurodivergent, who is not as committed to this plan and these grand ideas as Jesse's character is, and it's so cool to see the way that she can kind of change gears when it comes to both of them. So as I said, the basement scenes, they aren't the most engaging for me. I just found that, I don't know, the dialogue just kept going in circles for me. It's her telling them I'm not an alien, them saying yes you are, her saying no I'm not, and then so on and so forth. And as I said, this film is discussing some very serious topics. Of course, these conspiracy people who are just kind of believing anything that they can find on a podcast because, hey, somebody else said it, so it must be true. And then also this pharmaceutical CEO being an all-powerful person and her company doing so much damage. There are ties to Teddy's mother taking part in some pharmaceutical experimentations and drugs that have caused her to have a big decline on her health. All of those things do very much have a grounding presence in this film. However, the film just kind of stops from like really delivering some grander message. Teddy is not a good guy. Michelle is not a good person either. But that's just kind of where it ends with this film. So it is quite frustrating that there just isn't anything extra that we're getting. And then also on the topic of those basement sequences, I kind of have to say that neither Michelle nor Teddy's characters really pulled me in and got me on either person's side, which is kind of hard to then really be compelled by the story, to really root for them, to really be that invested in their stories. I just kind of had a bit of a problem with that. But again, performances are wonderful. I hate to kind of say this, but for a lot of the runtime, I did kind of find myself a bit bored with this film, again, with the basement sequences. But then we get into the third act, which is kind of like, oh, finally extra energy is coming into this. And then we get a full Yorgos Lanthimos special, which I won't necessarily reveal if we have some people watching who have not seen the film, but it is truly bonkers. I guess I shouldn't find myself too surprised with where this film did eventually lead to, but even I was kind of like, oh, I actually did not expect to see this twist in all of this. So that was very welcomed. I thought it was fun. I really wish that this film got to this point so much sooner and just had more of this fun, wacky world brought into it. And as we have come to know and love with other Yorgos films, we have some pretty impeccable crafts in this one. The score by Jerzy Fendrix is anxiety-inducing. Robbie Ryan's cinematography is very crisp. It has this yellowish hue, perfect for these queen bee analogies that keep being made. And then the production design by James Price very much gives us a clear image into these people's lives. I didn't know exactly coming out of the theater how I felt about this film. I would say that I was more of a mixed bag. I think ultimately I am going to say that I'm a 3 out of 5 for this one. I wasn't a big fan of Kinds of Kindness. I kind of had the same just kind of, what did I just watch moment with that? And so this one I do think plays better than Kinds of Kindness, but still just disappointing in some of the ways that it doesn't really get into a lot of the issues that make this film so interesting and so poignant for our time. I'm curious to see how this film plays with a nationwide audience. It's been a bit mixed so far, and I am sure maybe a lot of people will feel a little bit like me, but we've got some diehard Yorgos fans out there, so I would love to know how this ranks on their filmography list from him so far. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you here next time.